Hey, y'all. So, as you can tell, I'm in my bedroom right now. Hopefully, you can see me. The lighting's a little weird because I am in my bedroom. But I wanted to let you know what I have been doing this week. So, I am 2 weeks postpartum, a little over at the time that this is airing. And I wanted to let you know first, before I dive into the things that I have been doing this week to help me kind of get back into health and fitness, some staples that I've already been utilizing that I know are helping in my health and my fitness journey every single day. And so the first thing that I did want to let you guys know is, of course, having been in the health and the fitness industry for since 2017, and then having had a pretty consistent health and fitness lifestyle since 2013, I obviously have some habits in place that are non-negotiable at this point in my life, but I'm still working through, okay, if am starting over in my journey, and if I'm doing it the way that I teach my clients and my app members, then I need to be moving slow with this. And so the first thing that when we got home that I made sure to start doing again was taking my supplements. And I will have another video just specifically on these supplements, but the supplements that I take are called Juice Plus. They are, I take all of them that they have. They are fruit and veggie capsules. Green, obviously veggies, 10 vegetables in it. The red is 10 fruits. The purple is 10 different types of berries. And then I take their plant-based omegas because it doesn't have a fishy taste and they're not that hard to swallow. And with these two, it's super fun. My oldest son is 4 at the time right now. And for kids 4 to college or young professionals, you can get it for free with an adult order. And so he just turned 4 recently. I was actually just able to transfer my order over to a Healthy Starts order is what they call it, and get his supplements for free, which are the gummies. He takes the fruit and the vegetable gummies. And so I'm super excited about that. But that was the first thing that I did when I got home was make sure to start taking those again. And those are the only supplements I recommend to my clients because I know what's in them, and supplements, unless you're working with like a functional medicine practitioner or something, supplements honestly are really hard to understand and to know what your body really needs. And so those, I know what's in them. They're NSF certified, which means that they are tested by a third party, that what is in them is actually in them. And they have actual studies. This is my dog, Norman. I love him. They have actual studies done on the Juice Plus supplements. They're not borrowing studies. And so I love those. But that is what I started doing as soon as I got home, was taking my supplements again. And that's my easy win every day. My quick win is I can take those and I know that I'm at least doing something for my nutrition and my body and my healing and my recovery. And so with that, something that I have done, there's a couple things I'm going to tell you what I've done this week to really help with my body and kind of getting back into some things is obviously I'm still healing. And so I'm taking things slow when it comes to movement, and I'm not necessarily exercising again, but I am doing a little bit of something because we found out late in my pregnancy that by late, I mean when I ended up being induced because I had low amniotic fluid. And we found out the same day that I got induced that I had SPD, or I might say this wrong, symphysis pubic dysfunction. And so that is where, like in my pelvis, like where your pelvis comes together, it was kind of separating and there's just some dysfunction there. And I've been going to a chiropractor, and so she's helping me work through that too. But I also am doing some core exercises and some small things to kind of help heal that SPD. And so I'm gonna show you a little bit of those moves because even if you don't have SPD, they're still super helpful for engaging your core. And that is the biggest thing fitness-wise right now I am doing, is just relearning how to engage my core without a baby in it, and really feeling my lower abdominals and engaging my glutes and my lower back and figuring out what this feels like again. And so I'm really just trying to wake up my core. I'm not necessarily going hard on anything, but just really trying to wake up my core to feel it again and be breathing well. And so I will show you some of those moves, but I've done those a couple of times this past week. I'm really only going to do them 2 to 3 times a week. Now, if there's a lot of pain that I'm having with it, will do these moves to kind of help ease some of that pain because these moves really help kind of bring it back into normal function. And so with that, the belly breathing, the core belly breathing that I teach my prenatal, my postpartum clients, it's also in my SD Fitwell app in the Strengthen Your Core course, which was written for prenatal postpartum women. However, the core belly breathing that I teach really it needs to be utilized by all women. And he's like, let me move down. This is Norman, our border collie. My son named him, and he's honestly a super chill border collie. But anyways, with that, so with the core belly breathing, really all women need to be utilizing it because understanding how to engage your core in any movement and picking up your kids and picking your groceries up and bending down to lift a box and put it up overhead, no matter what it is, knowing how to engage your core will really help with eliminating um, injuries, but also help with pelvic floor function and just with core function and making sure that when you are exercising and using the belly breathing, which, we need to be using the belly breathing during exercise. When we are exercising, it helps fire the right muscle groups so that you're not out of balance and you don't have overactive and underactive muscles. You're really keeping your muscles balanced and you're utilizing the right muscles in the exercise. And so you're being able to fire your core really is such a powerhouse, which I mean, the armor of God, breastplate of righteousness, right? To help protect your core. And then there's the belt along with that. There's a whole other sermon illustration I could use with that, but there's a reason why your core is a powerhouse. It really does help you fire the right muscle groups during exercise and have good form. And so I will walk through those in just a few minutes. But the second thing that I have done this week is my husband and I have gone through our Holy Health Marriage Journal, which is actually something that we wrote together. And this is what it looks like. So cute, right? Little avocado. In this, it just really helps us give us perspective on each other's health and fitness goals. And so with this, the big thing that I wanted to do this week was set my goals. If I don't know where I'm going or what goals I have, I'm not going to know how to get there and I'm just going to be floundering. And so I wanted to make sure that we both set ourselves up for success. And there's a lot of things in here. I will link it in the show notes. But it breaks it down into just really helping each other understand your spouse and their goals for health and fitness. And then also how to encourage each other, how to live it out. It explains why it matters, how to set the stage, gives you all the questions. And then at the end, it helps make it a lifestyle. And so it has weekly check-ins that we can do with each other to ask each other, how'd you prioritize your wellness this week? How did you prioritize your spouse's wellness? How did you encourage your spouse in wellness this week? What went well this week for health and fitness? How can you do more of that? What didn't go well? What needs to change for the upcoming week? And so the questions are the same every single week, but it just helps you reflect and understand together as a couple how you can help prioritize wellness for each other mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all those things. And then it also has, because you set goals in it, it has action and habit trackers for the husband and for the wife, separate ones. And then it also has some free couple workouts. There are 4 workouts there for couples. And so we went through this. And so I'm going to share my 3 goals for the next 3 months that I have, which are the first 3 months of my postpartum. And my goals are nutrition. So I have been working with some functional medicine ladies. And so nutrition wise, I'm going to be working through that to heal my body from the inside out because I had a lot of health issues, like I mentioned in my pregnancy. And so I'm going to be working through that, the hand method. I'm going to be trying to get back into the hand method and prioritizing more protein, clear action steps will come. I'm gonna walk through that in the next video, and how in the next week, I'm gonna walk through what my action steps are over the next 12 weeks. But nutrition is a big one, getting back into nutrition and just working on portion sizes and utilizing my hand method. And then exercise, going from just smaller core stuff to the end of the 3 months, hopefully getting back into 3 to 4 days a week of a rhythm. And I'm going to be utilizing my lean program in the SD Fitball app, but I'll be utilizing other programs in there before then. And I'll let you know when I do. And then my third goal is just some stress relieving tips or actions, activities to help wind me down, with lack of sleep. I want to make sure that I'm managing my stress well and able to wind down and look to the Lord too for that stress, but also make sure that being proactive in relieving stress. And so those are my top 3 goals for the next 3 months. I'm gonna break those down in this next week and show you what that looks like in the next video. But I am really excited to get started on those. It's really hard to be patient, and I understand from a client's point of view when they're like, "No, give me more," because we want to go all in, and we wanna, go all in, do all the things, but, it really is important to take it slow, and that is why I am intentionally and purposefully working on taking things slow and just doing little by little things to that progress over perfection that will add up and get me to where I want to be postpartum. And getting where I want to be strength wise and physically, internally with my health and my nutrition and also my muscles. I lost a lot of muscle tone over the pregnancy. And so getting back there as well. And something else that I did do this last week, sometimes like there are habits that I talk about, and then there are like one time actions. And I did a one-time action this week that felt really good. This was my outside of taking my Juice Plus every day and outside of, sitting down with my husband and working through our goals. Side note, if you are not married, I also offer a regular goal course where you can just go through your own goals for you and what's your why and understanding the why behind your health and your fitness goal. And so you can, if you are not married, you're single, you can always utilize that. You don't have to use the marriage journal, but if you are married, it is super helpful to do that together with your spouse to get on the same page. And my husband and I actually did a couple of podcast episodes together, and I will link those in the show notes so that you and your spouse can listen to those together. But one thing that I did that felt really good was that I created a new weekly routine for our family. And one thing that I have learned is in my own business, I try to systematize everything, create systems that are going to be helpful to make it easier for me to run my business and then also be a mom and also be a wife and be a ministry partner and all of those things. Bye, Norman. And so one thing that I try to do, honestly, is systematize at home as well. That helps our family be healthy and be able to do the things that we are feel called to do with my husband in ministry, with me in ministry with him, but then also with running my own business. Having systems and routines for our family is huge. And so I don't just do it in my business, I do it in our home to make things easier on us, and I'll walk through more of those in the coming weeks. But one thing that I did do was work through just a weekly rough draft of a weekly routine with a newborn. And so right now he's sleeping a lot. He's, um, right here sleeping. I have him up on my phone. So if I have to go in a minute, it's because he's ready to eat. But one thing that I did do was just work Monday through Sunday. What can this look like now? My kids are in preschool a couple days a week. And so one of the big shifts that I did make was with both kids. They do have rest time. They don't necessarily nap, but I do have them do rest time for a couple hours in the afternoon. And for them, what we're going to be doing is, or what I will be doing, because I'll be home with them, is when they get up from their rest time, it's pretty much when I'll be putting our youngest Wells to take a nap. And hopefully, you never know with a newborn, right? But I'll be putting him down, hopefully, to take a nap. And when they get up, I will be, I'm going to get the big kids up and we're going to go ahead and take our baths. Like they're going to take their baths, they're going to get ready for the evening, wind down, and then I will have an activity for them to do or allow them to watch a little bit of TV. until my husband gets home and can help. And then at that point, the baby will probably be awake and ready to eat again. And so that was one thing I did this week that just felt really good, was to just write out, okay, I really have no control over, Wells's, our baby's sleep, our newborn sleep, and his eating habits and those type of things where we can have good sleep hygiene and eating hygiene and what we call it in our family when they're this young. Like we can practice good things with them to help him cultivate good sleep habits and things like that. We really, he's baby. We control over certain things. And so to the best of my ability, this helps me really just, think about, okay, Monday, my son is at school. My daughter usually goes to my mom's house. And then, when they get home, here's what we're going to do. They're going to go down for rest time. Then they're going to get up. They're going to take a bath. Then they'll have an activity to do. And by that time, my husband will get home. And so it just helped the days flow better for me. And that's really Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And then Wednesdays are going to look a little bit different because I'm home all day with them. My husband works a 12-hour day on Wednesdays. And that's going to look different. And then Sundays, Friday and Saturday, my husband is home, but then Sundays he works again. And so having this written out, our weekly routine makes a huge difference mentally for me. And so one-time actions can be really, really helpful in your health and your fitness journey. And so that is what I'm doing this week. I'm going to show you just a little bit of the exercises real quick that I am doing to help with core and my SPD. And so the first one is I am laying on the ground, and hopefully you can see me. Yes. And I have my legs open where my feet are together, and I'm pressing my feet together and into the ground as I'm breathing in, and I'm relaxing. And then when I breathe out, that's when I'm tightening my pelvic floor and my core, and I'm going to be squeezing my feet together and pushing down. And I'm just going to do 10 of these breaths and these like butterfly squeezes. So breathing in, breathing out, squeezing down, and tightening my core and pelvic floor. And I can feel this in my lower abdominals and even in my lower back right now, which feels very, very weak. Relaxing, tightening as I breathe out. Relaxing, squeezing those feet together, pushing down as I breathe out. So I'm just going to do a few of those. And then the second one is I'm going to put the yoga block in between my legs here. And I'm just going to breathe in, big breath as I tighten, as I'm, tightening my pelvic floor and my core, bringing it together, kind of like a corset or like zipping it up, however you want to think about it. I am squeezing the yoga block in between my legs. So breathing out or breathing in, breathing out, tightening, breathing out or breathing in, excuse me. And then the third exercise that I've been doing is same thing. Yoga block is right here, but I'm going to be doing a small glute bridge. And so I'm breathing in. When I breathe in, I'm expanding, I'm relaxing my pelvic floor. When I am breathing out, I am squeezing my pelvic floor and tightening it up all the way up through my core and pushing my hips up toward the ceiling while also squeezing the yoga block. So breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And those are just a few of the core belly breathing exercises that I'm doing right now, just to really engage it and then also to help with my SPD. And so those are things I know that may sound like a lot that I've done this week, but it's just been in pockets of time where my husband and I sat down after all the kids went to bed, or, we were well stood for however long he was going to sleep that night, went through the Holy Health Marriage Journal to nail down our goals, got our goals nailed down. I started doing a few of these exercises to really help prepare my core and the SPD. And I just gave myself a quick win by writing out a new rough, like weekly schedule. And it really does. Being able to have systems in your home is so helpful and freeing to be able to do the things that you feel the Lord is calling you to do and have the flexibility to do other things as well. And so this gives us, even though a routine or a schedule may feel rigid, honestly, this gives us freedom in our home, rest and peace in our home, which are things that we value in our home. And we are thankful for that. And so that is what I've been doing. I've also been trying to read a little bit, a few pages every night right now, just a fun book. Honestly, like a kid's book. It's called The Lightning Thief. Because they started a show on Disney Plus on it. And I had all these books and I've read them before, but I wanted to go back through them and just start having something fun to read before I go to bed every night and just to help wind me down. And so those are a few of the things that I've done this week. What I challenge you to do is just pick one thing, or if it's a one-time action, like my systems was, or going through the Holy Health Marriage Journal, a one-time thing. Maybe you can do multiple because you can space it out over a couple of days, but just pick one thing consistently that you're doing. And so, like, I started reading last week every night, just literally a few pages, like 2 to 3 pages. If I have more time, I may read more, but I'm not giving myself like a time frame or anything else with it. And so just making sure that, if it's something consistent habit you're trying to get into, just choose one thing at a time to do. But if it's a one-time action, like the system, the weekly routine, or then the journal, then, do something smaller, doing a one-time action, excuse me, you may be able to do a couple in the week. So choose one thing. If it's a habit, if it's an action, try to do a one-time action as well. And let me know in the comments how it goes for you and what you're going to choose to do this week to move the needle on your health and your fitness journey, no matter how small. We're working on progress over perfection in the SD Fitwell world, and also keeping the Lord in the center of it and making sure you're reading your Bible too. If you are not reading your Bible every day or a couple days a week, consistently, or in prayer consistently, that I would suggest you want to have as your first habit to get into if you are a believer, because that's really going to set you up for everything else that you're doing. And so make that your habit first if you're not already doing that. If you are already doing that, then add in something, just one thing for your health and your fitness, a habit that you can start working on this week. I want to just add a quick note here that while I have no control over, my newborn sleep schedule, or even, with my own kids, whether they get sick, or my other kids, whether they get sick, there are always going to be things in our lives that we have no control over. However, the Lord does give us wisdom to create flexibility and freedom in our lifestyle. And that may look different for each and every one of us. For me, freedom looks like having routines and having schedules and having systems for my home in place and in my business as well, to help cultivate the environment in the home that I want and the relationship that I want with my family and my husband and my kids, and even our community and our church. And so just remind yourself that while you may not have a newborn at home that you have no control over, I'm sure there are things in your life that external circumstances you have no control over, but you do have control over what you're giving over to the Lord, how you plan your days. Now, He will guide our steps, as scripture says. Like, we could plan, but He's going to be the one that ultimately, helps us walk that out and live it out. But you do have control over little decisions and things in your attitude each and every day in your response to those uncontrollable things. And so I just want to encourage you that while, your external circumstances probably look different than mine, but something that we all have in common, all busy women have in common, is that there are external circumstances that we don't have control over day in and day out. And it's how we respond to those things that we don't have control over And what can we do to create the flexibility and freedom with the Lord's guidance and wisdom in our own lives to be able to still cultivate the life that He has called us to have. So be encouraged. We're all in the same place. We all have uncontrollable things in our lives, but we have to respond with the Lord and in prayer and in the Word to be able to understand how we can navigate those seasons. And different seasons are going to look different ways. And some seasons we're going to have more control, other seasons we're going to have less control. Depends again on our external circumstances. And so just be encouraged that no matter what, you do have control over something. The Lord does give us control over some decisions, but we want to walk hand in hand with Him in that.